Gratitude. Sometimes it's really difficult when you had a stroke to be grateful for anything. But having gratitude, especially when at the beginning, it was really hard to say I'm grateful for anything.
Much of anything.
you know, um, but it's not different. Who I am today, it's so different than the person that I was 14 years ago. So, so I just want to talk to you a little bit about gratitude and the difference that it made in my life. Hi, I'm Sonia Kuntz.
And I'm Peter Kuntz. Welcome to Loving Life. The three things we do on this channel are body mechanics, mobility training, and carnivore diet, all geared towards stroke recovery. However, we are not medical professionals and nothing we say on this channel should be considered medical advice.
So gratitude. There, I can look back the whole time that I've been on this crazy journey of my recovery. And I know that back in the day, if someone would have said to me, there's going to be a day where you're going to look back and you're going to be grateful. You're going to be grateful for all of this, all the things that are not easy. And you're going to look back and you're going to be grateful. I would think I would probably
punch them in the face.
That. Yeah, like I would have been like, "Are you kidding me?" Like
I think I would have punched somebody in the face if someone had said that to her. Like,
yeah.
one day you're going to be grateful. Someday you're going to be grateful for what I just did to you, to your face.
But the thing is, it's true. It's so true. I'm the person, I think about the person that I was before I had a stroke. And then there's a person who is me now. And it's like looking like two different persons. Like the person that I was before I had a stroke, I was mean to myself. Like I was horribly brutal with myself. Like no self-esteem. Like the things that I would say to myself multiple times a day, every day, I wouldn't say those things when the word, like the person that I hate more than anyone, I wouldn't say what I would say to myself every single day, but then this amazing thing happened. I had a stroke, I had a stroke, and I think that there's probably a lot of people that was like, are you serious? Yes, I am being very serious. Because the person I am now, I'm so grateful for everything, not just right now. I mean, I'm married to this amazing guy. I have two amazing kids. I have two crazy, but I love, dogs. I have a snake and a tarantula, and these are just things that I mean, I live in Oregon. And I love it here.
So beautiful here.
I had to go back and like, if you're someone who had a stroke, or even if you've been, a while, but you still kind of are kind of stuck to where you can't look at or think about yourself, and it can't be, I'm grateful for any of this. I hate all of this. Yeah. Then maybe this will help you. Because I know when after I had a stroke, and then I had, 6 months later, I realized, what was happening to me and what happened. then that, I would say the first 2 years, yeah, that was tough. That was because every day it was like, I mean, you have to understand who I was before that. I already hated myself. So having a stroke then after that, it wasn't that much of a like, I wasn't very close to killing myself anyway. And then I had my stroke. And so it was really hard to kind of, you know, get back, like get forward after all that, you know. So what I did, because, you know, I remember thinking, I'm like, I'm done. Like, I'm so tired of all of this. But there was something, my body, my mind, my, like, it wouldn't say, okay, go, suicide. Like, my body just, it wouldn't do it. It wouldn't, like, until I was like, okay, you know, fine. So if I'm going to be here, you know, like, okay, so what, you know, everyone was like, be positive. Okay, tell me
I
about
am positive you are getting on my nerves right now.
yeah.
How's that for positivity?
Because the thing
Positive
is,
about that.
you know, of course, I would love to be positive. I was like, to be positive, but you know, if when you're at that level of not being positive, you can't just force yourself to be positive. You know, you
No.
can't just be like, okay, life is great and today is a beautiful day. You know, you can say that, but I didn't believe
No.
it. I didn't knew from a second. I did
No, it doesn't work. It's putting frosting on a shit cake.
yeah.
It's still a shit cake. It doesn't matter how pretty the frosting is on the inside. It's still just a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
You can't pretend that it's not. Not really.
Yeah. So what I would do, I would wake up, and the very first thing is I'm glad that I waked up. That I woke up. And then I would, you know, kind of hop into bed to where I was, you know, standing up. Like, I'm so grateful that I have the ability to, like, get up to have, and then I would go to the bathroom. I'm grateful that I actually had, you know, I can do it by myself, and I can go to the bathroom by myself. You know, every little thing. You know, when I had breakfast, I remember I looked and I was like, okay, let's say I was having eggs. You know, I'm so grateful that this egg is here, and I think about, like, okay, what, you know, think about where this was. It was in a farm. And so I'm grateful that there was, you know, however many people it was that made sure that the chicken was healthy, that, you know, the egg was, you know, you know,
Up to
packed away.
par,
Yeah, you know,
whatever
yeah.
egg farmers
Yeah,
do in their
and then,
process.
yeah, I was grateful because those are things that didn't have anything to do with me. No, had nothing to do with me. I'm grateful that at the end of it, I'm eating this egg.
All
You
she's doing
know,
is eating an egg off a plate.
yeah. But
But
I went through all the back to, okay, this is where it began, and being grateful every step of the way till it was on to my plate. You know, and I would do that every day. You know, and and the great thing that happened was every day, you know, a little bit more and more, I felt really grateful for just things would happen, you know, little things or small things or big things, you know, but a little bit, I realized that there's so much in the world, in your world, that is, you have so much to be grateful for. But I know that when you're at the beginning, I know it probably does not feel like it. You're probably not going to feel like the, happy and everything's just going to be all good. No,
I'm so grateful for this stroke.
yeah.
I'm so grateful for my body not being able to do what I want it to do that it used to do. I'm so grateful for that.
I know, just
probably that's a lot harder, and it makes it so much harder when people around you are telling you that you should this, that, or the other. You should be grateful. You should be positive. You should fuck off. Okay, don't tell me that I should anything. It's with best intentions, of course. They want you to be happy. People around you, they want to see you happy, and they don't know what to do. So they say it like that, and it's kind of clumsy, and it is what it is. But don't do it for them. Don't do it for them. Don't try, and don't feel like you need to put on a show for them. Because it has nothing to do with that. When I was like, I got over clinical depression. These days it's not called that. It's called severe depressive disorder, but it's the same thing. That started when I was 6 years old. I'm 51. So I was dealing with that without medication for over 40 years. And people would say the same kinds of things to me. And, you should, why don't you, look on the bright side, find things to be happy about. And I would get so stuck with the fact that somebody was telling me how I should feel that I would just get pissed off at them and resentful to them. But it took a really, really, really long time. Sometimes I'm a slow learner. But largely because of this wonderful woman, then I started realizing none of that, my gratitude has nothing to do with anybody else or what anybody else might want to see in me. In very simple terms, when I feel grateful for whatever it is, I'm watching a movie and I love the movie. I'm grateful that this movie exists. Mm-hmm. I'm listening to music that I love. I am so grateful that these musicians or DJs or whatever it happens to be, that they exist and that they were inspired to make this music, and that they made it and it reached my ears and it reached my life. I am so grateful for that. I would have been dead so many times over many, many, many years if it weren't for music. I was extremely grateful for that. And the more I focused on that, the more I focused on things that I was so appreciative of, I was so grateful for, I felt better. And feeling better, that's kind of the goal, isn't it? So when with being grateful, we're not saying you should do anything. We're saying you want to feel better. Looking for things to actually be appreciative of, not because you're supposed to, not because somebody tells you, right, but because you actually are grateful. Your dog comes over and like, hey, at least I've still got you. You're always so loyal. Start considering how grateful you are for your dog. We have 2 crazy dogs, one of which you see on the videos running around all over the place, because if we put her inside, she will not stop screaming. So we bring her out here. And she's crazy. She's nuts. And we're so grateful to her. She makes us smile and laugh every single time. Both the dogs do. They're wonderful companions. They're wonderful. Yeah, we're talking about you, dork.
Yeah, I think about, if you look at me right now, there's still like with my recovery, my arm was not 100%. My leg isn't 100%.
Your speech.
My speech, not 100%. Okay, but that doesn't matter. And that's not me being grateful for everything that I have in my life every single day has nothing to do with what my body is doing in at that moment. And I'm grateful that I am getting through my recovery every day. Like that is so much joy in my life. Like just because I have the great opportunity to have my body go from what it was 14 years ago to
Which was
what is
brutal.
now and the way that it's going to be in 1 year. Like, and I get to experience all of that.
And we get to document it
Yeah.
on this channel.
Yeah. How awesome is that? I can't think of anything more exciting and wonderful and amazing that I am going to be. I get to experience my body doing all this stuff and just look at it and be like, dude, I am amazed that I got to do all this. I'm grateful for all of that. I've gone through all of that so much that I can go back and be like, I am so grateful that I had a stroke. I'm so grateful that I now am experiencing all of these amazingly great things. I really can. I'm, but you have to, if you're listening and if you're at the point where you just, it's very hard. First of all, that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It is really okay. And just try to say, I'm grateful, like I said, I'm grateful for this egg. I'm grateful for
Music.
music. I'm
For a
grateful.
dog.
Yeah.
It's not pretending to be grateful because you want to be grateful for something. It's noticing
Yeah.
what you are grateful for. It also doesn't mean that it has to look a certain way on the outside. And it doesn't have to put you in the best mood. And like, look, now I'm chipper because I'm grateful for a song I just heard. That doesn't mean any of that. If you are, then that's wonderful.
Yeah.
If you genuinely are, if that song just picked you up and inspired you and you have the greatest day because you heard this song, awesome. Cool. Ride that wave.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean anything that it's not. I am so grateful that Sonia had a stroke 14 years ago. We both are. My reasons are very different than hers in many ways, but one that we both are right there with is we have two kids. She had the stroke years before the kids. The versions of ourselves that we both were, when Sonia had the stroke, trying to imagine those two versions of ourselves as parents is a horror story.
I had always wanted to be the mother. Always. But I had so many
issues that hadn't been dealt with.
Yeah, and I knew that I don't want to fix it. I just wanted to, kind of hide it real as low as I can and just kind of go my day. But I knew that I'm never going to be a mother because I know that I don't want my issues becoming their issues. But I always wanted to be a mother. I did.
And
now
we're not going to sit here and toot our own horn about how we're the greatest parents ever, but we're proud of ourselves. We're proud of our kids. We're happy. We're so happy to see how our kids are doing. They're both happy and they're healthy and they're doing great. And we're doing an above average job. But most importantly, as parents, we're able to be good parents. We're able to be the kind of parents that we want to be a little bit more every single day. Find things that you are genuinely grateful for, no matter how small, because it feels better to you. Because it feels better than looking at all the things that suck at that moment.
And be like, sometimes I know for me, it was, I felt better. I'm not going to say I felt great because back in the day, no, I didn't.
No, you didn't.
But I felt a little bit better when I would say I'm grateful for these waffles. You know what I mean? Because it was something outside of myself. Because coming about myself, like anything about me, it was like, that was me really quickly going downhill. Like, so being outside myself, okay, I'm grateful for the waffles. I'm grateful for, whatever it may be. Um, it was better. It made me feel better because I was looking outside of myself. And and back in the day, I needed that. I needed to get some kind of, you know, breathing room from myself. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
It's almost like this nano vacation, just for, even if it's for like a second,
yeah,
of just getting out of this space, this headspace of all this stuff is going on with me, and this sucks and it's overwhelming and I don't know what to do about it, and just taking yourself, by taking your attention
hmm
and just paying attention to something else for a second, it's a gift for yourself. It's a relief,
yeah,
even if it's for us for
second,
1 second, and then
yeah,
you're back.
yeah,
Just for that 1 second, that felt really nice. And if it's more than a second, then all the better.
yeah, great. All right, guys. I think it's it.
I think so.
I love you.
Keep your heads up. You're doing great. You're doing just fine.
Yes. All right. I love you guys.
Love you.
Mwah.